Hey guys, this is Jackie. We're at CrossFit RVA in Richmond, Virginia, and today we're going to be going over the kipping pull-up. All right, so before you do any kipping pull-ups, you should be able to do a dead hang pull-up, at least one, before you're actively doing kipping pull-ups in a workout. But just a little disclaimer before we start the video. So first thing we're going to go over is the hollow and arch position. So these are the positions you're going to be in your swing. So the hollow position is at the back of the swing, and the arch position is at the front, like when you're ahead of the bar. So we're going to do them on the floor, and we're going to go over the hollow body position first. So basically, you're going to bring your feet and your arms up, and you're going to keep your chest and your lower back as close to the ground as possible, flexing your abs and keeping everything super tight. So you're almost in like a banana kind of position. And then we're going to transition into a Superman or arched body position. So this is basically arching your back, keeping your legs and arms up as high as possible while keeping your head neutral. So you should be able to do a hollow position and then roll into an arch position. So these are the positions you want to be in on the bar. Okay, so the first part of the swing that's the most important is remembering to lead the swing with your chest and your shoulders and not swinging with your legs, because that's just going to mess up your timing and the swing in general. So we're going to hop up on the bar and you're going to lead with your shoulders. So you're only moving your shoulders and then leading your chest with the swing. So the power is coming out of your shoulders, but your chest is where the swing is going. So again, in that hollow and then arch positions. Next is we're going to go over the proper grip. So a lot of people like to what we call suicide grip the bar. So that means basically your thumbs are over the bar like this, but what you want to do is a reverse hook where you're actually holding the bar with your thumb under and then kind of closing it up with your fingers. So that makes your shoulders super active, and that helps with the actual swinging. So again, shoulders and keeping that chest going where basically you want it to go. The next thing we're going to go over is your hips. So the hips are where the power of the swing goes. Your chest and your shoulders are leading it, but the power, especially to get up on the pull, is coming from your hips. Just like when you're doing a thruster or a clean, you have a lot of power in your hips, you want to use that. So you can come up here, leading with your shoulders and then activating your hips. So I'm pulling up with my hips to get a little bit more momentum on the back time. So I'm going to break down the hip hinge a little bit so you can understand why we're doing it. So essentially, you want your hips to be closed when you're in that hollow position. So closed basically like closing your hips like you're almost like sitting down. And then opening it when you're in that arch position, and that's where that power is coming from. So I'll demonstrate it right on the bar. So we're up here, and then you're going to open your hips, close, open, close. And that, essentially when you're doing it bigger, is giving you a ton of power and makes you in that weightlessness position when you're actually going to do the pull. So again, when you're doing this as a progression, you want to start off with the swing, just that open and closing shoulders, then incorporating your hips a little bit, and then really getting that power. So you don't want to do it right away. You just want to like build up to it. All right, so we're going to talk about that moment of weightlessness. So essentially that's when you're on the backswing of the pull, and then you're almost weightless, and that's when you're coming back down for that swing. So on that moment of weightlessness, that's when you're going to do the pull. So the pull is not just a pull with your arms, but also initiating your hips and using that power from your hips. So we're just going to feel that moment's weightlessness, and I'm going to point it out essentially while I'm doing the swing. So we're here, we're swinging, and it's here. Back here is where that weightlessness is, and that's where I'm doing the regrip. So that's kind of like giving you that cue when you regrip your wrists that, okay, this is the weightlessness part. So that's a good drill to do when you're like still learning a kipping pull-up, is regripping your hands. And essentially what that means when I say regrip is your wrists are on the bar and then you're gonna rotate them forward, like a little quick jump. So we're gonna do that real quick on the bar. So while I'm here, I'm swinging, and then weightlessness, regrip. And you're rotating your wrists ahead of the bar. So now you've done the regrip, you feel that moment of weightlessness, now's the time to add the pull in. So again, when you would have regripped is when you're gonna actually do the pull. So I'm gonna do a couple here and explain. So I'm swinging and then pull. So I'm missionating it with my hips and then pulling with my arms, pushing away and doing it again. So using that power in your hips to get yourself up on the bar. So a drill you can do to kind of like feel that on the box. So you bring in a box here. So you're gonna pull, and then we're gonna talk about that push away part. So that's essential to getting multiple kipping pull-ups. If you just drop, you're dead. The kipping swing's done. So we're gonna practice jumping up and then pushing away. So you're gonna pull up on the bar, push away from the bar. So that way you have something to like land on. So again, pulling, pushing away, pulling and pushing away. So that way you have something to land on, but you want to actively be pushing the bar away from you. All right, so common error with a kipping pull-up is everyone thinks the power's in their legs and they use the swing with their legs instead of with their shoulders and hips. So what that's gonna do is basically give you no power whatsoever, and basically you can't do a kipping pull-up. So I'm gonna demonstrate doing it with swinging with my legs and how that doesn't translate. So you jump up here and you're swinging with your legs. I'm basically not going anywhere. I'm just moving my legs back and forth, but I'm getting no power out of it, and it messes up your timing. So again, you wanna initiate the swing, shoulders and chest, and then use that hip drive for power. Another thing people do in the end of a kipping pull-up is they just drop straight down. They don't push away from the bar, and that messes again with your timing of the swing. You'll never be able to do multiple kipping pull-ups. So I'm gonna do a drop down, see how I lose power essentially. So we're up here, pull down. And now I have to re-swing to get back up there. So what you wanna do is actively pushing with your shoulders away from the bar so that you drop down into a swing. So swinging up, pull, and back down. And that's it. So thanks for joining us. Again, I'm Jackie. We're at CrossFit RVA in Richmond, Virginia, and that was the kipping pull-up.